Hello, this is Dr. Anthony Festmeyer. In this lesson, we're going to learn how to play 4 types of E-form 7th chords: Major 7, Dominant 7, Minor 7, and Minor 7 flat 5. After we've gotten those forms under our fingers, we're going to go ahead and apply them diatonically to the major scale. Now, first of all, what is an E-form chord? If I come over here and use fingers 1, 2, and 3 and just play a basic open E chord. Now I can take those fingers and switch to 2, 3, and 4, playing the same chord, and then move that up by 1 fret and bar at the 1st fret. Now I've created a bar chord and I've essentially transposed the E major chord to an F major chord. The root of the chord is always right here with my first finger on the low E string. Now this is a transposable chord now, so I can move up 1 fret, for example, and play an F sharp chord because my first finger is here on F sharp or G flat. I can move it up 1 more fret, and my first finger is on G. Now this is a G major chord. I could go ahead and move it all the way up the neck and play 12 different major chords. Now let's go ahead and come up here to the 8th fret, play that same shape. This is now a C major chord. The notes of a C major chord are C, E, and G. Now I'm playing all 6 strings here, so I actually have a C, a G, another C, a E, another G, and another C. 6 notes, but only 3 different notes, so this is a C major chord. A C major chord is a triad, and our goal is to play 7th chords. So we're going to go ahead and start here on C, but we're going to kind of rework this shape so that we can play those 4 types of 7th chords. The first one that we want to play is a C major 7 chord. C major 7 starts with those same triad notes, C, E, G, but adds an extra note, a B. The B, by the way, is a major 7 above the C note, and that's the additional note that we need for a C major 7 chord, C, E, G, B. Now for these 4 different chords that we're going to learn, we're only going to play 1 of each note. We're not going to have the doubled up notes like we did with this triad. So this is how this chord will work. I'm going to put my first finger here on C. For all of these chords, we'll start with C as the note on the low E string. That's where we get the E form name. I'm going to put my second finger in the same 8th fret, but way up on the B string. My third finger is going to skip a string, come to the D string, but it is in the 9th fret. And then filling in between, also on the 9th fret, I'm going to put my pinky on the G string. So I end up with this. Now again, the notes of this chord are C, E, G, B, but they're all kind of spread out. I've got C here with my first finger, G with my second finger, B with my third finger, and then I'm grabbing the E with my pinky. Right, there's our shape for the C major 7. Now the next chord that we're going to do is the C dominant 7. Now in terms of theory, that is a major triad, again C, E, G, with an added minor 7 interval. So now instead of using B like we did with this chord, we're going to use a B flat. So C, E, G, B flat. Now I can go ahead and kind of check out this chord. 3 of the notes are the same for the major 7 and the dominant 7. It's just the B becomes a B flat. Now my B is here, and that could go back 1/2 step to the 8th fret to give me a B flat. Now I'm going to have to reorder my fingers in order to do that, so let's check this out. I still have my first finger on C, but now my second finger is going to the D string to catch that B flat note also in the 8th fret. My third finger will still be in the 8th fret, but it's going to be playing the note on the B string, which is a G note. Then I'm going to grab the E note here with my pinky and play this. Now, by the way, one important thing that I did not mention is that for all these chords, we're skipping over the A string. Now, if I'm just strumming down, I'm naturally strumming through that A string. but my first finger is lightly touching the A string with the back, and you can hear that that note is muted. And so when I strum all these strings, I don't hear that note. I only hear the 4 notes of the chord. All right, so that is the form for the dominant 7 chord. Next, we have the C minor 7 chord. That is a minor triad with an added minor 7. Now, the minor triad is C, E flat, and G. The minor 7 is the same as it was on this dominant chord. It is a B flat note. So we have C, E flat, G, and B flat. Now this chord, my hand's going to feel a little contorted, but basically all the notes are just here within the 8th fret. I'm grabbing the C here, a B here, at the D string, rolling my finger over and grabbing an E flat on the G string, and a G on the B string. So really I'm only playing this note here on the low E string, this note here, here, and here on the D, G, and B strings. But in order to finger that, I'm playing the 3 notes, the ones on the D, G, and B with 1 finger. And then I'm grabbing the low E string here with my 2nd finger to get this. All right, and then the final chord is the minor 7 flat 5. That's the same as this chord, but we take the 5th of the chord, which is the G, and we lower it by 1/2 step. That gives us a G flat. So the notes are C, E flat, G flat, and B flat. Again, going through 1 finger at a time, I'm going to play the C here with my 2nd finger, just like I did with the minor 7 chord. But then I'm going to reach up to the B string. Here in the 7th fret, that's a G flat note. Then my 3rd finger is going to catch the B flat note, 8th fret of the D string, and then my pinky is also going to be in the 8th fret on the G string, and I catch the S chord. That's the minor 7 flat 5 chord. All right, so those are the 4 basic shapes that we're going to work with. Now we're working on those shapes because those are the chords that come from a major scale. So we're basically going to work up through the C major scale first, and then we'll go ahead and try another major scale. And we're going to apply all those 7 chords to that scale. So the first chord in a major key is always a major 7 chord. So we're going to use the notes of the C major scale. And by the way, I'm going to trace those notes on the low E string since we're working with the E form chords. Again, first note of the C major scale is a C note. Putting my first finger here, and I'm playing that major 7 voicing. Major 7 for the 1 chord. The second chord in the E major key is a minor 7 chord. So I go to the 2nd note of the C major scale, C, D, and I play a minor 7 chord on the D. The 3rd chord in the E major key is a minor 7 chord as well. So I'm going to go to the 3rd note of the C scale, C, D, E, and I'm going to play E minor 7. The 4th chord in any major key is always a major 7 chord. 4th note of the C scale is F. I can play it up here. I'm going to go ahead and grab it down here, and on F I'm going to play the F major 7 chord. All right, the 5th chord in any major key is a dominant 7 chord. So I'm going to bring my first finger up here to the 5th note of the C scale, which is a G note. I'm going to finger my dominant 7 voicing. The 6th chord in any major key is a minor 7 chord. So going to the 6th note of the C major scale, A, I'm going to play that minor 7 chord. And then finally, the 7th note of any major scale will get the minor 7 flat 5 chord. So I'm going to come here to a B note with my 2nd finger and play that minor 7 flat 5 voicing. And then if I want, I could return to the 1 chord, the major 7 chord. All right, let's go through those again really quickly. 1 chord, C major 7. 2 chord, D minor 7. 3 chord, E minor 7. 4 chord, F major 7, 5 chord, G dominant 7, 6th chord, A minor 7, and 7th chord, B minor 7 flat 5. All right, now let's go ahead and try that in another major key. So let's go ahead and do the key of G major. Now the key of G major has 1 sharp, if you know your key signatures. The notes are G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and then we return to G. So if I start with my 1 chord, I'll come here on a G note on the low E string, play a G major 7 chord. 2nd note of the G major scale is A, so I play an A minor 7 chord for the 2 chord. For the 3 chord, I've got B, the 3rd note of the G major scale. And again, it's B minor 7. 4th note of that scale is C, so I get a C major 7 for the 4th chord. For the 5 chord, it's a dominant chord, and the 5th note of G major is D, so I get a D dominant 7. Next up is the 6th chord, E is the 6th note, E minor 7. And then finally, the 7th note of the G major scale is F sharp. And I'm going to go ahead and play F sharp minor 7 flat 5. Then if I want, I could return to the 1 chord, G major 7. All right, now as long as you know your major scales, you can trace those notes on the low E string and play through all the diatonic 7th chords using these E forms. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you at the next lesson.